Hey guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope you're all doing alright. There we go, we've got sound eventually. Yeah, hope you've all had a good weekend. So, plan for today is we're just going to play some of the PSOBB Christmas events. So I think this will be the last stream that we get to do it on because it will have ended by next stream. Unless it runs over like they normally do. Unfortunately, it is rare in my week. So, not exactly the best for rare drops or anything. Although if our luck is anything to go by, we'll probably get rares in this week. As usual, for anyone who might be new watching, we do play on Ephinea on the European ship Block 2, and it's normally Block 2, Lobby 21. And we'll just start the music again. How can I download that game? So this server is called Ephinea. I think it's in the title of the stream actually, yeah, Ephinea. So if you just Google that, there is a website with a link to the client to download, and you can just download it straight from there. Yeah, it's really, really easy to install. There are other servers as well, I should say, so don't feel like Ephinea is the only one. There are other servers to play on as well. I personally would recommend Ephinea though. So, what is our RBR for this week? Scarlet Realm 1, Lost Bind Assault, and War of Limits 1. Of course, War of Limits 1 comes up when we've got a rare enemy week. I mean, I suppose if we do any of the Fiasco quests, I guess there's a chance of getting rare enemies there. I did upload a video earlier today, which is the next PSO side stories one, where I did run into a rare enemy during that, because of course I did. It is also Condria week, yeah. Yeah, I suppose there is a few zoos and Dorfons in it, so there is a chance. I mean, I'm happy to start with a War of Limits 1 if you want. SectionSkyly sponsored by Ephinea. No, unfortunately, I'm not sponsored. Hi, Boink. Also, let me know what the game volume's like, because for some reason, despite me changing absolutely nothing since last time I played, when I went to record my video earlier on, PSO was super, super quiet. So I've had to adjust all the settings again. I don't know why my OBS does this. It is quite annoying. Best ID for Astarks would be Bluefull. Yeah, is that the limiter drop from Astarks? So I can get more limiters to go with the two I've already got that I still haven't unsealed. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do a Bluefull War of Limits if you want. Yeah, I was going to say, I think I get Yasakanis from Astarks, which do actually have a use. I mean, the main reason you would get a Yasakani would be if you're going for one of the Book of Katana items from Claire's deal, because I'm sure one of them needs a Yasakani. Hi, LGP. So yeah, I don't mind doing a Bluefull War of Limits 1 if you want to start with that. Then we can switch it up after that. Now, I heard that sound alert there. It worked, good. Yeah, it's set up exactly the same as last stream. So again, nothing has changed. I have no idea. It must have been an issue on Twitch's end last time. Hi, Zale and Vector. And Pika as well. Yeah, I'll use my Honeywell for this one, then I might switch over. More limiter. Sounds good. Yeah, when I was doing the video earlier on, I ran into a random gnarly that dropped a god HP because of course I did. Yeah, when you're not looking for rare enemies, they show up in spades. What's coal used for? So in the, I think it's one of the shop quests, there's a Christmas shop quest. There is an NPC stood next to the bank and you can basically trade him coal and he'll give you a present. So it's another way of getting the Christmas present drops. Sorry, the present drops, not the Christmas present drops, because they are two different things. So yeah, essentially, even if you're not getting any actual drops as presents, you can just give him a load of coal instead. I think there's two different types of present you can get. There's presents and ultimate presents. Ultimate presents have some better drops in them, but cost more coal. But I say they have better drops in them. They can also still have things like a photon drop.
Emergency code attack.
Yeah, I don't know what happened yesterday to get killed in the Athalog on PSO. I was as surprised as everyone else. Oh, you got the ME mech gun. I actually think the ME mech gun is a pretty decent one. Oh, we're starting strong with a Magawa. So straight into the garbage drops. Yeah, the ME mech gun I think is actually really decent because it has 40 hit. So for me, its accuracy is still pretty good. And obviously it has charge as well. So, I mean, I use it on this character, so I genuinely don't know how it compares to like a 50 hit charge Vulcan. But it has cool white photon, so that's one reason to use it. You have no idea what a Magawatt is. It's an episode 4 drop, so yeah, if you've only played the console versions, you wouldn't know. It is that. I think the description actually says something like resembles a hoe, but it's deadly nonetheless. It's terrible. Yeah, they call it a hoe in the game, which is rather rude. I would personally call it a wreck. It has more accuracy than your 45 hit charge Vulcan. Oh, cool. Yeah, for me it seems like one of the better Type M weapons. At least the hoe is useful. Yeah, charge Vulcans are yellow, and that is kind of your theme, isn't it? So I can see why you'd want to probably stick with the charge Vulcans. It was quite annoying that I paid 25 Easter eggs for these to get them from the Easter shop back in the Easter event, and then I got one for my present anyway. But I guess I've got a spare one for my Yuka maybe. He has a yellow castle after all. I think Drac went too hard with the Berserk. Yeah, I was saying this on Discord just before the stream started. I was watching Ziggy earlier, and he was telling me some like stuff about like breaking PSO essentially, and some of the stuff he was telling me was ridiculous. I didn't know this, but apparently on Olga Floor on first phase, before he actually appears in front of you on the lift, so when he's still above you, if you've got a Heaven Strike, apparently you can hit him with the auto aim special, because you just shoot directly up in the air and hit him. You can also, apparently, if you're a rare Marl, apparently you can Zalure him when he's up in the air as well. So Drac famously constantly 1 HP away from death in PSO, has the highest death count in PS0 and keeps consuming my moons on PSO2. I think we need an intervention. This game is a lock-on and dodge roll away from being a Souls-like. Yeah, I mean, I guess in PSO you don't really have many options for avoiding enemies, really. It is literally just get your character out of the way. You know, it is such a primitive game, really. No luxury of dodge rolls or anything. Exactly, yeah, just face tank everything. Yeah, it's just take the hit and accept it. So yeah, unfortunately, this will be the last PSO Christmas event stream, because it should end next weekend, and unless it gets extended, which sometimes it does overrun a bit. That is a photon drop. So this will probably be the last attempt at getting something. I will be playing it during the week off stream as well, but nice for someone to get an Uber on stream. Shame we're not doing a Christmas and New Year's event. I mean, I think it runs until about, I think it's until January the 11th. That's literally like the day before I stream PSO next. You got 9 photon crystals. I mean, obviously my big drop from this event was that 75-hit caliber last week from the present. My other presents haven't been that great. I think I got a 40 hit. It was like I think it was a charge handgun. It was one of the Type M ones again, but I think it was a charge GU hand, I think it's called. I got that, and then I got another charge ME mech as well. But that's about it. I think the other ones have mostly been photon crystals and photon drops. Oh, you got that as well? I mean, it seems okay, but it is basically just a charge ray gun. Valentine's next, right? I think in terms of the lobbies, I think on PSO, I know that when it rolled over to New Year, there was like a New Year special lobby that used to play briefly. Like you used to get some special New Year music, but I think after that it would just change again. In terms of the actual lobbies, I think, yeah, I think Valentine's might be the next one. But obviously, there's no big event in game for that. All I know is that when Easter rolls around, I'm staying heck away from everything Phantasy Star. I hate the song they put on. Think of the egg wrappies. I do agree that I'm not a big fan of the Easter music for Phantasy Star. Oh, I'd love the add-on. Oh, is that the one where you can see the items on the ground? I just use the item reader at the minute, but I might consider installing that mod because it seems quite useful. Particularly for if you're doing quests like Phantasmal World or something where there's hundreds of drops on the floor. And Exard as well, yeah. You having to push your Steam Deck purchase to next year now. You're buying your Stepson his first gaming PC. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think I saw you post about that on the Discord. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine Ephinea will be here for a while, so... we need to set up a GoFundMe to get LJP into Ephinea. As much as I super appreciate the thought, I couldn't accept that. Oh, let's got a Vijaya. Does that have any hit? I'm assuming it's not big hit because it hasn't scrolled a banner, but... $15 native, brilliant. Yeah, axe trash, exactly. You got a Vijaya in PSO 2 and Winston PSOBB. Didn't you say you only had about 10,000 Mazetta in PSOBB anyway? So you could only afford to swing it once anyway. You and Mazetta scrounging yesterday. Is the J in Vijaya a hard J or the Espanol equivalent? I have no idea. My pronunciation of it seems to change every single stream. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what the pronunciation of it is. It sounds like an insult. On the Sega server, you had a Vijaya with 5 hit, so -5 hit because you didn't know better. Yeah, so you can just pay 10,000 Mazetta to miss. I did notice when I was watching Ziggy as well that he's got some kind of mod on it where it changes the text that shows up when you miss. So instead of saying miss, it says skill diff. Oh, we actually got something decent. Got terrible percents, but... Got a Durasol with 20 air beast. So now I can delete my health even faster. Not with this one though, because it's still intact. I genuinely think this weapon looks terrible. You like it? That's not for me at all. You were going to say a cool weapon. It seems like everyone likes the look of it. I just... Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like the design. I mean, it kind of goes with the mag, which I also don't like. Yeah, the only reason that you really use this weapon is just for the special to delete your health fast. So if you're running something like a Dark Floor build, you basically use it to delete your health fast, and that's it. Double cannon is purple. Double cannon does look different as well. It looks like if you make too hard an attack with the other blade, it would hit yourself in the back of the head. Maybe that's why the special hurts you. I also like how we're getting rare drops when there is no rare drop boost. As is the usual way with PSO. Perfect for your Dark Floor, now you can spam it. I would, but you know for a fact that as soon as I try spamming Dark Floor here, I'm going to get hit by like a random Dorfon charge or a Zoo shot. Like, it's going to happen. I got a red coat from a box. That's not too bad on that one, actually. Yeah, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Love how it's been nearly a full calendar year and we've only had one Dorfon Eclair spawn. Yeah, Dorfon Eclair is ridiculously hard to run into. It's because the rate for it is the same as all the other rare enemies, but obviously Dorfon is a lot less common. You still have the video I did on Black Paper. This route is lots of zoos, this route is lots of Dorfons, suffering and more suffering. It is kind of a weird question that you've got the Dorfon route and the zoo route and then Rappies. The Rappy route is by far the easiest. Although having said that, it is quite easy to get accidentally killed in the Rappy route, particularly if you do ultimate. Because sometimes you'll get them where they'll drop down in like quite a tight ring around you. And it's really easy to be in the wrong position and get surrounded by them. Oh, book material. What a way to go ganked by a group of Rappies. The sand Rappies in Ep 4 legitimately do quite a lot of damage. Particularly the ones in desert. They seem to crit all the time. Clearly been going to the same school as the seabed Sinnohs. that sharp pointy nose out? It is. They reappear again in PSP 2 and they're even more irritating than that. Just a quick Pokemon question for chat. Even though I have my team pretty much locked in, if I find a shiny, am I duty bound to use it? Depends if you like the Pokemon. I've got a load of shinies that I never use because I didn't like the Pokemon. You know, particularly the male shiny Salandit that I've got. Thanks for that game. Get a shiny Ditto and use all the shinies. Big brain. Mil Salander and Cornby need vindication. They really do. I've seen a few, but I've never really run into any by accident. It's always been when I've been grinding for them. But I have seen some that were not the Pokemon I was looking for. Oh, let's got a present, cool. Red Gyarados doesn't count. I think everyone got that. I don't know how that Rappy dodged. Yeah, I guess Red Gyarados would count if you actually got the shiny Magikarp in the first place. That was a bit close. I messed up there, actually. I shouldn't have healed that. I should have just gone ham with the Dark Float while I was invincible. Oh, we're near the end anyway, so it didn't matter. Oh, a 50 hit bind ray gun. Thanks for that. Got 2 Photon Crystals from it. I think that's one of the common ones. I know I've had that a few times. I mean, Photon Crystals are still useful. You know, at least you can use those to go towards adding percentages to, you know, to a body part weapon. You think present drops are disable for you? That's how I felt in the Halloween event. Oddly, I did actually get a Halloween cookie from one of the Christmas presents. Yeah, you can also use them in black paper as well, obviously. And obviously a lot of people use them in Claire's deal to add percentages to things like the Baron's Launcher and the Bringer's Rifle. You forgot Twin Blaze was a thing. Twin Blaze is really cool. It's a really useful weapon, particularly for casts as well. Just because you can basically use the special to detonate your traps. Yeah, Raycast can use it as well, yeah. Drac must be on the naughty list. He's got no presents and no keys. Hang on, I saw charge arms there. Does it have any hit? We have a 5-hit charge arms in the shop. So close yet so far. He did get a key yesterday eventually, yeah. It was a sympathy key. Is there a weapon that Cass can use that does Gizonde? I know Mazer Beam, well, more specifically Power Mazer, does Gizonde, because I think Mazer Beam might only hit one target. But I can't remember if Cass can use that. And it's a terrible weapon. I like how math seems broken in NGS, had a 50% chance to upgrade a preset skill and it failed 6 times. That sounds about right with my experience of preset skills. They can use it, oh cool. I would imagine they probably don't do much damage with it. It's one thing I've never tested. I'm assuming that because it does Gazonde, I'm guessing the damage scales off your MST. So that would probably explain the double-digit damage then. There we go. And into the sash it goes, probably never to come out again. If anyone in chat needs the drop chart, LJP has them ready. I expect nothing else. Your stash confuses you on PSOBB. You looked at it yesterday and don't even know what half of it is anymore. What do you mean that you just don't know what the items are? That's what happens when you don't play for months. You just can't remember half of them. Alright, saving them as Zeta for moons for Vector. Yeah, LJP, I mean, I know most of Skylight drop chart. Other IDs I'm less... I know less about. I know a decent amount of my Red Rear, but if it's an ID that I don't play a lot of, I probably don't know a great deal of it. Yeah, you can actually view your character data on Ephenia's website as well. Yeah, that's a really good point. There is a way you can check what's in your inventories on that. You can also, just about Ephenia's website as well, for anyone who might not know, you can actually download your character data from it as well. So that if you ever then wanted to run your own server or anything, you've got your character data. I tend to do it every couple of months or so, just in case. So, next up, I think... So we've done War Limits. There is Spaceship in Ep 2. Obviously, there's no rare enemies in Spaceship, so it's kind of a shame that that's come up for the rare enemy week. We could just do a Fiasco run. Or we could go after Condrio. Sky after getting SGS. Yeah, well, saving one. Well, saving one. Yeah, I would download my character data quite a bit after getting an SGS. Oh, Minsk is here. Yeah, no matter luck, I'd get SGS and then the server would go down. Vector's Christmas tree is amazing. It really is. Challenge mode never. Yeah, we do. I know we've said this over and over again, but we do need to finish challenge mode at some point. I say I was talking to Ziggy a bit when he was streaming earlier, and he did give us a few little tips on, particularly on Seabed. There is some stupid stuff you can do in Seabed to save time. Up for C mode, just bear in mind I'm rusty as heck. I'm happy to do C mode with anyone anytime, like probably off stream mainly because it's easy to communicate. But yeah, it is a fun game mode to do. Crossover, you never know. So, how close are you to level 200, Minsk? Confirmed, he grinned. Nothing has been planned. I'm talking to other people at the minute, but yeah, nothing sort of set in stone yet. 520k. I mean, that is potentially doable. So, I mean, I guess we try just doing maybe a Fiasco run. I mean, Fiasco's a good experience. Vector's back in his pause spot. You'll do Viridia Fiasco. Yeah, that sounds good. How many have we got anywhere? Seven of us. Yeah, so we can do 2 runs. Zil was here, but he's got an hour, no worries. Actually, Kilniath said he's gonna come on. On level 124, that should be fine. Must be a special occasion. Kilniath's coming on PSO. Nearly 24 years to get to level 200. Have you really never had a 200 before, Minsk? Oh, cool. Hey, Drac hasn't had one either. Nor present. Have you not had any present drops, Drac, at all? No, but I only played 3 days of the event. Nah, fair enough. Well, it's time yet. To be fair, you have been quite busy on PSO too. We're doing the Sodom depth runs. Vector's here, you will get present maybe. You're at depth 71, it's so much HP. Yeah, for anyone who might be watching new is into PSO 2, I am planning on doing some streams of that. So January the 12th will be the first PSO 2 stream. I will probably do some videos on it as well. That does not mean that PSO is going anywhere though. I feel like it's going to be one of those kind of runs. Yeah, Sanji, a lot of people do prefer the older games. I do like, you know, I've said it before, I do like New Genesis. But yeah, you're not the only one who has issues with it. To say the least. I don't know why I'm trying to use the Dark Float in this quest. I mean, it's going to end horribly trying. But, you know. I need to heal here because that Dolphin's probably going to hit me. I think one of the issues is that, like, PSO2 and New Genesis are just... They are so far removed from the older games that a lot of people who like PSO and even people who maybe like PSU maybe you just can't get into PSO2 or NGS, which is fine. Likewise, a lot of people who play PSO2 and NGS would probably really struggle to get into this. Apparently Sega gave the dev team a lot more funding for New Genesis, so we'll see what the future holds. How's the run going? So this run's just started, so nothing really yet. I have heard that they are getting a lot more funding for NGS, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. I'm trying to sort of keep my expectations realistic, but yeah, we'll see. That was a very lucky Dolphin dodge. Yeah, expectations are budget equals scratches. I mean, let's be real. I mean, the scratches are always going to be a part of NGS because that's how PSO2 and NGS make money. It's a sad fact that when you run a free-to-play game, monetization's got to come from somewhere. That's how they do it in NGS. Now, yes, it would be nice to see that money that's being invested into NGS go towards some other stuff as well. I'm interested to see what happens with the updates that are coming up. So the Masquerade update could be interesting, and the new Darkfalls that's coming as well. Because I do feel that the big boss fights are some of the better parts of NGS, so I'm interested to see what the new one's like. I saw someone do a high symbol chat, so I assumed there was a doff on a Claire. Apparently I'm wrong. Yeah, I think for me with NGS, I need to see sort of the roadmap as it gets filled up, because although they have shown us a roadmap in the last NGS headline, it's obviously not everything that's on it. Did I ever play HC? Do you mean hardcore for Blue Burst? Made a fresh format. I'm a sucker for the tall hat. You get started and get back into the swing of things. Oh, nice one. You just try and stick it out with format. I know it can be pretty rough early on with the accuracy issues, but try and stick with it. I messed around a little bit with the hardcore when it was on Ephinea, but never really put too much time into it. Because when random stuff like that happens, it's way too easy to get randomed out. It was funny when they had the hardcore mode though, because every now and again you get the scrolling messages whenever someone died. That is a photon drop. I'll take that. You miss hardcore. Made doing tower exciting. I mean, that's one way to put it. I can't imagine trying to do tower hardcore. I really do want to use Dark Floor, but not when there's that many door fonts. Oh, we got the Lieutenant gear. Annoyingly, it's actually a really high stat one. No, just no. Yeah, I am multi-streaming over on Twitch and YouTube at the minute, so that's one reason there's no chat on the screen as well, because Twitch don't like you having the chat of YouTube on screen, even though lots of people do it anyway. Yeah, I suppose that's a way to do it with hardcore, isn't it? Just basically load upon scapes. In case I haven't to really, you know, particularly with things like the Merrick Carols. You just need to know, I suppose, where they spawn. Watching this game in 2025 is such a treat, nothing quite like it. You just had to be there. Yeah, I think it's a weird game, PSO. I think for someone who's never played it before, if they're watching it for the first time, it probably looks very, very janky, and it is. But if you were there at the time, it is such a special game. That seems rather cheap. The Dolphins can just hide outside the room. Dolphin is hiding. Nope, Pig got a final impact. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, player base the entire world. Can't get into PSO 2. Yeah, it's like I said a bit earlier, they are such different games, really. I enjoy PSO 2 and I enjoy NGS for what they are, but they are very, very different games to this. Great replayability from such a simple gameplay formula. That's what it is. I mean, you know, if you break PSO down, really there isn't a whole lot to it. You know, there's not that many areas. Yes, there's a lot of character classes, but a lot of them are very similar. There really isn't a whole lot to it when you break it down, but they didn't need to be at the time, because it was pretty much the first game to do this kind of thing, on console anyway. You know, is it a perfect game? No, I'd say it's close. But there are issues with PSO, of course there are. But I think that because the game is so simple, it is still very approachable. Now, yeah, if you want to go for the best gear in the game, you're going to be here a long time. But I think it's the kind of game where if you just want to sort of dip into it, do a couple of runs, you can. That was rare footage of a Huni whale nearly doing 2,000 damage. It has more endgame than NGS seems to. At the minute, NGS is... I hesitate to use the word endgame for it, but at the minute it's basically running Nameless for Iridims to get like the perfect combination of EX augments and then create a Tricelio or hope for a 12 drop. It's always awkward with using endgame for things like NGS though, because with it being live service, the endgame is constantly changing. You know, PSO is obviously from a very, very different era where you knew what you had in the game. What was there is what you got. Yeah, what I mean, Kilnyato, is obviously with NGS, they keep obviously increasing the level cap every so often, so every time the level cap increases, the end game shifts. Yeah, Mr. There is a PSU private server. Yeah, if you search for Clementine, that is a PSU private server. As far as I'm aware, it's the only one. I could be wrong. We've done a few streams of it actually, so I would recommend it if you are looking for somewhere to play PSU. Dolphin Eclair where? This spawn kinda sucks. Oh, got a present somewhere. When the screen stops shaking. There it is. Can't find the download for Clementine. The site is down. I know they've had some issues with the hosting and things. I think if you can find the wiki for Clementine, I think you might be able to get through there. Alternative is, I think there is a Clementine Discord as well, so you might be able to get the link through there as well. I can't remember how I got access to it now. It's psu-clementine.com. Right, go on, let's open this present, see what it is. Photon drop, thank you. So that is what we call the consolation present. I don't mind though, photon drop's still useful. To be fair, I did get the 75 at caliber last stream, so I can't really complain. Such high hopes for NGS, but honestly, it's just something about it lost the PSO soul. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think for me, a lot of it is mainly like the enemy designs in NGS. The enemies in NGS for me feel a little bit uninspired. I think because the story is coming in like fits and starts as well, it's hard to sort of get invested in it. But I do still enjoy playing it though. When you get the PD present, it's always one for you. Yeah, I can't remember if I found a photon drop before I picked that up or not. Oh yeah, Minsk, I got it, I think it was last week when I played PSO. I got a 75 hit caliber from the from one of the presents, which is now a 75 hit dark floor. Because Nemu very kindly gave me a parasitic gene floor. I would like to use it, but it feels like it's almost impossible to use. Why is everyone dead? It feels like it's impossible to use in this area because it's so easy to just get randomly hit. Meanwhile, the PGF sits in your bank. Have you still not decided what to do with it yet? It's an awkward one for PGF because there's kind of no doubt that Dark Flow is the best of the 3 options to use, but obviously if you don't really play Hunter, then it's a shame because I think the other weapons look really cool as well. Like, I really like the Dark Meteor and the Dark Bridge, but they're just not as good as Dark Flow. Oh, Drax going for the Dark Flow. I will try not to heal it. Yeah, I think for me, one of the issues was then Jess was the dolls were fine at first, but then when they introduced the new regions, they basically just changed the look of the dolls slightly, and a lot of them were kind of the same. Like the humanoid ones with the swords and the guns and so on. And then when we got the Starless, it was essentially the same kind of thing again, but purple. So that's what I mean about the NGS enemy designs. I do feel like they are a little bit uninspired. Some of the designs are really cool. Like, I do like some of the Dark Falls designs. And the fights are actually pretty fun as well. Yeah, there are some issues with the game though, for sure. For what it's worth though, in NGS's defense, I will say that I do feel like it's in a better place now than it has been for a while. There's our boy. Fowler represent exactly. 4 chain still works with 2 different last ones, right? As far as I'm aware, I think you can still use... You can use the same PB in the chain twice, as long as they're not next to each other, I think. So you could do, for example... As far as I know, so I think you can do, say... Yeah, so you can do, for example, twins, Fowler, pillar, Fowler, and that would work, to my knowledge. But if you did twins, Fowler, pillar, pillar, that wouldn't work. Yeah, there wasn't 4 numbers for me, it only showed 3. Next year you'll be able to give Goller its time to shine. Oh, you saw 4? I'm guessing it's probably like a desync thing then. Yeah, it was definitely only 3 for me. You saw 3 as well. It was 4 for you. So half of us saw 3 and half of us saw 4. Sounds about right. You see, for me, it's now seeing that the shifter and D-band is wearing off on Pika. So yeah, I think it did desync. Use Dolphin next time. Yeah, no worries. NGS can be fun, especially in multiplayer. My girlfriend's recently started playing, and we've been having fun doing some of the towers and such, and she's liking the gameplay. Oh, Pig got a present. Enjoying my time with NGS, just feel like it's underdeveloped for what it was sold as an improvement over PSO 2. Yeah, I don't know, it kind of feels like a side game to me, more or less. Luther and the 4 Files bosses that let the Darkers in base PSO 2 were peak villains. Luther in particular. Luther is awesome. And later on in Ep 6, obviously, villains like Shiva are really good as well. From what I've seen anyway. Again, I didn't play much of Ep 6. It's crazy that base PSO 2 is a DLC add-on. I'm guessing the reason they did that is obviously because if you've got it installed, you'll know that base PSO 2 is a massive file size. So I'm guessing they probably did that partly because obviously NGS being the new game, they probably want more people to play NGS for obvious reasons. But the other reason is probably just because PSO 2 is so huge. If you don't want to play PSO 2 base, then you can save a ton of space not having it. Most PSO 2 characters have way more personality than NGS characters as well. Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of NGS characters I do like. But yeah, I mean, again, partly it is because in base PSO 2, you've just got so many characters as well. You have basically every character archetype known to man in PSO 2 base. It is really nice having a lot of people with demons taking care of the Blulus. Also, again, I just want to say the recent PSO video I did where I was talking about 2025 in Phantasy Star. Again, just thanks for everyone who's watched that video. That video has done insanely well for the channel. And we've had a lot of new people in chat and in the Discord recently as well, so thanks very much for that. Oh, why does PSO insist on giving me these really high hit drops that are terrible? So it's just dropped a 50 hit Havoc Scepter. What do you expect me to do with this? Depending on how many join, we could have a 12-person multi-party. Yeah, potentially. I suppose there is the option for that in PSO 2, isn't there? Nearly fun you well. Yeah, I guess so. What I like about NGS in Chapter 7, there was a third dialogue option if you play the base game, meaning that you're playing the character from base. If you haven't played base, you're just a new person. Yeah, it was kind of weird for me because, so I played a lot of PSO2 base on the Japanese servers. I started over basically again on global. So I only had the 2 options there because I didn't bother playing PSO2 again. Because PSO2 base is a huge time investment to go through it all. Particularly to go through all the story anyway. So I didn't want to go through it again at the time. So when I got to that point in the story, I just got the 2 options. It was only later on that I realised there was a third hidden option for it. Chapter 7's got you interested, but you feel it's going to be slow waiting for the payoff. I think, what was it that said on the headline? I think we're getting a story quest fairly soon. And then they're doing, I think it's like a sub-story in August or something. So, yeah, it's a long wait. Again, I've said this before, but that's one thing I don't really like about NGS, the way they've handled the story. Story in February, March, and then mini episodes. which Drac explained they're just those NPC cutscenes. Yeah, the mini episodes are a bit of a joke, honestly. If the previous ones are anything to go by, they basically are just like little mini episodes where you talk to one of the characters and you maybe get a 5 or 10 minute cutscene at most. There is not a lot to them. Just put it out there that when we play on stream, I can't say how good my moderator status will be affected. I only have small focus. Oh, no worries. Clearly a skill issue. Yeah, I'd forgotten about the Warframe stream, actually, yeah. I get it, though. I mean, you know, if you're playing the game, it is hard to like do all the moderation as well. God knows my gameplay goes to hell when I'm trying to stream. Any excuse. Yeah, PSO 2 does kind of escalate quickly, doesn't it? Base PSO2 in a nutshell, yeah, Rock Bear level 1 to fighting Xemnas from Kingdom Hearts 2, Shiva. Yeah, I've always thought that the story of PSO2 is, although it's interesting, I kind of feel that it could have been handled differently, I think. For me, I kind of lost a bit of interest in the story in PSO2 when all the like time travel stuff and like time altering stuff started. Someone has just stole my my Lavis cannon from a red slime. Thanks for that. Yeah, the issue I've got, Kilniath, is I'm small brain, and when time travel starts happening, I can't keep up. Yeah, Ep 4, I will say. Ep 4 is difficult to get into at first. I feel with episode 4 that it starts off, and if you're not into the sort of the whole sort of anime school slice of life thing, you really won't like it at first. But later on in episode 4, it does get a lot better. And then you start episode 5. To be fair, we haven't seen bots in a while. We haven't actually. No, I think the last one was nearly a month ago. I'm sure they'll come back again. You've got a present for me. Go on then. Oh, nice. Yeah, 50 hit Chaos Club. Episode 1 to 3 was peak storytelling. Episode 6 was good as well. I would agree for the most part. The only thing I would say is that and I've said this a few times, I feel episode 2 was way too long. It seemed to drag on a lot. The story was really, really good, but it really dragged on. The base game is as a lit to the party player and went through the whole game. You were like, oh my god, we're on Earth. Oh my god, medieval and shit. And the Masquerade was PSD. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Blade, but we are getting Masquerade and NGS soon as well. Hit a bit of a wall in episode 4. One of the side quests wanted to do Corruption Amduskia. Angafanga, whatever it's called. Yeah, that'll be Angafandage. Killed you 6 times and took an hour before you gave up. I think the issue is that I think a lot of the ultimate areas, like the corrupted areas, I don't know what they call them in global, but I know on JP they were referred to as the ultimate quests. They were kind of designed for multiplayer anyway. You could solo them, but it would take you a while usually. Yeah, but I don't know how I feel about Masquerade coming back. I'm interested to see how they handle it, how hard it actually gets. I know in base game it was brutal. Masquerade might filter some NGS noobs. Exegol already does. Yeah, I know we said this on the Discord yesterday, didn't we? But it's amazing how many people in NGS don't know how to fight Exegol. The amount of people in Lucille or in Nameless City when it spawns there that target the car on the front of it. When you're meant to break the back parts first. Darkfall's loser needs to come back in NGS. Yeah, I mean we have like the equivalent of False Angel as Ruin Angel that appears in Lucille sometimes, but we don't have the actual raid boss version. I kind of agree that, I mean, I doubt they would bring that back just because obviously it was so heavily tied to a story character from PSO2, unless they start to bring the PSO2 characters back. But yeah, I've always said that Darkfall's Loser was one of my favourite bosses in PSO2. Mainly because I love little references to stuff, and I love how it referenced Olgaflow. You gotta break the rear plug. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what it is. Have to know, is DF Luther actually called DF Loser? It is actually called DF Loser, yeah. I think in the Japanese, I can't remember what it was listed as, because I can't remember how its name was written. In that I can't remember if it was called like Dark Faritsu Rusa, or if it was a kanji for the word loser. I can't remember now. I have a feeling it was just called Loser. Yeah, it is quite a weird name. By the way, how tricky is it to get a mag to 30 in all stats at 30 evolution? With this new character being starving off feeding the bugger because I want to find a way to get a Heart of Chow. Do I have PB? Yes, I do. Let's see if it works. We got it. Yeah, so I think that the downside with the Chow mag is obviously it does require you to make a very compromised mag because you have to balance the stats so much. So I believe, I can't remember if it's 30 or 35 or 25, the minimum that you need for all the stats on it. But it is quite awkward to do because you're constantly having to feed different things and balance the stats out. So it's more just a long process than anything really. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's tricky, but it is a long process. Is it your first mag as well? Because if it's your first mag, I would maybe consider going for something else and then making a Chow later on. Just because as a first mag, it might be a little bit too compromised. I mean, ultimately, you can get away with using pretty much anything, but just because you have to balance the stats so much for a Chow mag, it can be a little bit detrimental. Twitch asked me, are you sure you want to send this? It could be seen as offensive. Gotta say, the rare enemy boost is doing work, isn't it? For those of you keeping count, that is a grand total of 0. Probably better to save a chow as a side project. I would say so, particularly if it's your first character. Yeah, it's like Mist saying there, so quite often what you can do is you could use, say, a power mag or a mind mag, depending on what your class is, obviously, to level up, and that'll help you level up really good. And then when you're at a higher level, you could always switch to the Chow mag then if you want to. Thank you for the one more. Yeah, when you get to higher level, your stats are so high anyway that you can probably use whatever you wanted to. But while you're leveling up, I would probably recommend going with like a typical power or mind mag, depending on which class you're playing. It's your choice at the end of the day, obviously. Thank you for the 13-star rare. I would have been surprised if a 13-star rare dropped from a satellite lizard, but... well, I'd be surprised if a 13-star dropped at all in PSO because they don't exist. Yeah, so you typically go with like a full power or full mind. If you don't want to do that, you can also go with like a slightly adjusted one. So quite often I will use... There's a Sato that I've got, which is, I think it's like 5 defense.
Piece of orc trash!
I think to have a 5 defense, 145 power, 50 dex. And that's a totally fine Hunter or Ranger mag to use until you're really high level. And then you can always switch over. What a lot of people will do is they'll switch over to a specific mag for their class to max as many stats as possible. So I will show you after this spawn because this spawn is lethal. There we go. So on this character, I have this Telusis, and it has 5 defense, 95 power, 100 dex and no mind, and that is because the min-max mag for this character class Huniwell is this stats, mainly because Huniwell has real problems getting to an accuracy cap. So I use this mag basically, and if you look at my stats, I'm gonna have to remove my camera briefly so you can see. Yeah, you can probably see another frame still there, but you can still see that the attack power, the accuracy, and the look are all maxed. And that's because with the gear that I've got, it's enough to max those stats. This class in particular is very hard, nearly impossible to max all stats on, so that's why I go with those stats. But I wouldn't use this mag to level up a character with. How long is this stage, Sky? This one is a very long quest. I mean, this has taken us about 37 minutes to do. So this is quite a long quest, this. This is definitely one of the longer quests in the game. Actually, the requirements for RoboChow seem more reasonable. Only requires 70 plus in 2 stats. So... for 70 plus in 2 stats, again, it's going to kind of depend on what class you're playing. Some characters will be able to use it quite well. Out of curiosity, what class are you playing? I just got my first character hard. Martin, damn, what a difficulty increase that was. Is it your first time getting a character to hard, Mad Hatter? Formar. Formar, actually, you might be able to get away with it. Again, I haven't looked at what the sort of min-max stats are for Formar mags because I don't play Formar myself. But you could maybe get away with it. I mean, it kind of depends what you want to lean into with Formar. Obviously, you've got the ability to melee, you've got the ability to use text as well. It kind of depends on what kind of playstyle you want to do, to be honest. I think that Formar is probably one of the classes where you could maybe get away with it. The downside is, though, if you go 70 dex, 70 mind, you're also going to have 5 defense as well. That does leave you a little bit limited for decks, and obviously Forma does have some issues with accuracy. You could also get around that using things like arm units, but it's one of those things where, unfortunately, that's a requirement of the mag. So if you want that mag, you're going to have to do it, unfortunately. But it's not sort of ideal stats, let's say. I've made when new Genesis players think the Christmas music came from bass. If you think that's bad, Sanji, when NGS got Gal Griffin, there was a lot of people in NGS who didn't know what Gal Griffin was from. It made me very, very sad and feel very, very old. Nope, LJP's Dragonair is just at level 45. Yeah, we are old, yeah. When were you born? 1900s. I'm not quite that old. I mean, yeah, not quite. We're just going to ignore what she said. And I have to actually talk to Eleanor. Or not Eleanor, as the case may be. Yeah, did you see it, Pika? Yeah, the Christmas quests are wild. You forgot to talk with Eleanor, so you did all that and then didn't get the reward. Oh. I hear this music so much, it's a bop. Yeah, I really like the Christmas music. What was that? Pretty sure they trapped PSO 2 lobby dancers in Fiasco PCs. It does feel that way, yeah. Is that quest with the real juvenile boy in it still around? It is. It's the episode 1 Fiasco quest. Yeah, they should be around for about another week or so. Then I think the event ends on about the 11th, so... People also forgot the photon chairs came out in Blue Burst first. Well, I mean, they're from the... I want to say they might be from the Dreamcast version, maybe. They were definitely in GameCube. Clem has nice boost right now on everything. I might have to play a bit of PSU then, while the boosts are on. Why is the boost on Clementine anyway? Isn't the event over? Is it just because the event's ended? Yeah, the chairs were in Xbox, yeah, so obviously GameCube and Xbox are about the same time, so... I'm pretty certain, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they're in Dreamcast. It's like all PSO2 events, kills during Christmas. Oh, is it the like builds up a boost during the event and then they get boosts after the event? Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, we do have a Discord as well for anyone watching, so LJP's just dropped that in the chat on YouTube and on Twitch, so feel free to join us over there. Game audio is quiet. Yeah, I don't understand it. I've played around with the PSO audio loads. For some reason, well, this is the same settings it was in the video that I put up earlier. Seems fine to you. I mean, it looks fine on my OBS. It's not overly loud or anything, but... You had to zoom the guy argue you down, arguing they were from base. Yeah, they should probably go back and play PSO. Yeah, I do have the volume on PSO down a bit so it's not too loud. Right, let's see. What can we do next? It kind of feels pointless doing an SGS run today because there's no rare drop boosts. Nah, it's deployable. Seems fine to me. Fair enough. So we could do one of the RBR quests. I know we did War Limits at the start of the stream. Does anyone have anything they want from, I think it's a Spaceship for the Ep2 one? Play with a friend you made their name Silly Rabbit. Would be crazy to see them again. Yeah, it's probably surprising how many people are still playing now that used to play years ago. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to make a Skyly game. With Rare Monster Week, we have to run at least one Condryu. We could do Condryu. We could try to go for a Heaven Striker. Or green, yeah. What's the green and yellow drops? The green is what? Much new with the Christmas event. So the main thing is that the enemies drop presents that can have random stuff in them. There is some really, really good stuff in the presents, but it's quite rare. I've had one or two decent drops from it, but nothing... I got a 75 hit caliber that I've turned into a Dark Floor. Most of the other presents I've had have been Photon drops and Photon crystals, but they're still useful, so I don't mind. Yeah, 75 hit, yeah. Green is Galatine and Centurion, okay. Where's LJP? I was getting confused because I thought we were going to do Point of Disaster, and I was thinking, well, Galatine won't drop in Point of Disaster because it's a Sam Million drop. But if we do Max Attack, though, that gets around that. You got a Photon ticket for my present on normal. Ah, cool. It's a purple or yellow or even Oran. I mean, I do have the Oran Huka Seal. I could bust the Oran Huka Seal out. Oh, you do also have the Oran Reka Seal as well, don't you? Yeah. Majority vote. Well, I will go and get my Huka Seal, and I'll make one. You've been summoned, what happened? And people were wondering what the Condryu drops were for a couple of IDs, but I think we figured it out. Watch your earlier video, failed to realise you were streaming live. Yeah, YouTube, for some reason, seems very, very hit or miss whether it sends notifications out. I know you can, there's like a notification bell I think you can use that should tell you of any channel activity, but again, whether that actually works, I have no idea. Thinking about playing the other Phantasy Star games that have character creators, so you can just go through the family bloodline of your PSO2 character. That's cool. For the most part, I've kind of stuck with the same characters a lot. So my Hunuel that I was using then, and this character actually, both originate from PSO GameCube, and have followed me through most of the games. That is the wrong block. That is not the right block. So I will make an Oran Ep4 game. I will get deleted by the boss, but I'll just hide on the boss. You'll join the Epic ID. Yeah, for the drop charts, Pika, I wouldn't use the wiki. I would use the, if you go on the Ephinea website, there's a link to a drop chart on there. That seems to be more accurately updated. It's Centurion ability on Viridia, Greenhill, Skyline, Red Rear. Okay. Hi, Techium. Hope you're doing alright. I haven't played on Ephinea for many years now. I got completely sidetracked by Clementine. It's hard to keep up with them all, isn't it? Oran has Rapika, Dragon Scale, and Lamb. Okay. Yeah, Ephinea's really good 8-bit. I can't really fault it, to be honest. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. But actually, I think the only issue I've had with it, and it was a one-off, was there was one day in the Christmas event where there was some kind of issue with the server and I had to roll things back by about a day. So I lost a couple of items from that, but nothing crazy rare. But that's the only issue I've had in a couple of years of playing Ephinea, so I can't really complain. I love PSO, you're a GameCube player, but the drop rate of the items sucks so much for grinding for what? Yeah, welcome to PSO. Yeah, Gianluca, unfortunately, a big part of PSO, particularly in the later difficulties, is grinding for really rare stuff. Which one we wanting to do? Are we wanting to do maximum attack or point and disaster? Whichever is least suffering. Depends whether we want Rupika or Scale. I mean, I think Rupika is probably the more interesting of the two drops, but that does mean doing maximum attack. But we can try it. Right, next question. Which maximum attack is it? I never started episode 4 once, so I can never remember which one has the boss. Congrats on the growth of the channel, Sky. Really happy for you, mate. Oh, cheers, dude. It's just that one video, really. It's the regular E one, okay. So maximum attack E, episode 4. Sounds good. That's all it takes. Right, this is going to be rough because this character is not very well equipped, really. I mean, she has some decent weapons, but yeah, armor not so much. This is going to be rough, my feels every run. It feels like every time you play PSO, we run like a tougher quest. I mean, I don't know how this will be. I mean, we've got a level 200 Force, a level 185 Ranger. Should be alright. If anyone's going to die, it's going to be me. Rarity Superiority Club. I really like Rarity. I wish it was a better mag. The buffs that it does are not particularly helpful. I mean, they're better on cast because it does shift and deband. But it would be nice to have some invincibility. It's mostly about maxing out your level and then running levels as fast as possible while looking for the better goodies. It was the fun of playing with other people that made the game. Yeah, pretty much. I'd agree with that. Thank you for the rare drop there. I don't understand why that one alert is so loud. I have turned the volume down loads and it feels like it has made no difference. Also, one day I'm just going to assume. One day I'm just going to assume that it is just someone playing an alert, and it's actually going to be a rare dropping game. Still won't let you back. I do not understand that LJP. Why it will not let you do that? There you go, deployable's done it. For some reason it seems to have banned LJP from redeeming that. I have no idea why. LJP is anti-Aquaman. Tonight's beverage of choice is, I believe it is orange and peach flavoured water. Why is hydrate on a cooldown? So you don't overhydrate me. But yeah, it should be. I mean, it's set up the same as every other alert, so it should be that. I think it's like a 10-minute cooldown on it, and I think anyone in chat can use it twice per stream. But for some reason, it seems that just for LJP, you just can't use it. Yeah, you won't be able to use it at the minute Vector, because it'll be on cooldown at the minute. But I've looked into it, and it is definitely not set up any different. In the same way that the alerts were no different to last week, yet somehow didn't work last week and work fine this week. So yeah, I'm just going to blame Twitch. I feel so weak on this character after playing my Honeywell. Discord PSO screenshots real quick when you can, Sky. Will do. I'll do it after this room. You know that guy who you see around arguments saying fight, 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 but this time it's drink, drink, drink. You know, Dolphin just had it charge sideways, as you do. Right, I will quickly check the Discord. Alright, what am I looking at? I've looked at the screenshot. I'm clearly missing something. Oh, the labels on the ground are from the new mod that you're using. Yeah, I might have to get that mod. It seems quite useful. I never really bothered with it because typically I can sort of figure out where things are, but when you are doing quests that have tons of enemies like this, it does make it a bit easier to manage. You suffer so much to the lack of different attack palettes. Yeah, it is one of the issues with PSO. You kind of get used to it. On Blue Burst, it is easier because you've got that bar at the bottom of the screen as well that you can assign stuff to. But on the console versions, it is a bit more of a miserable process. One thing you can do is if you do sort of R and Y on GameCube, you bring up like a quick menu like that. And you can, I'm on a cast at the minute, so it's only showing traps, but if you've got techniques, you'd show techniques here. So you can do things like you can adjust where your techniques are in the list. So you can put your most used techniques near the top of the list, so they're easy access. Another thing that some Force players do as well is some of them will actually use, again, you won't be able to see it on this character necessarily. On a character that could use text, you'd have a technique menu in your main menu. And basically, you can actually cast from that menu, and it's actually a bit faster to do it. So a lot of Force players will actually cast from that menu as well. I personally don't, because I find it feels quite awkward for me to do. Lack of different palettes on GameCube is so bad, it sucks so much. Yeah, you basically, you just want to pick your most used stuff, really. What class are you playing, Gianluca? Because I think for some classes it's a little bit easier to figure out what to put on your palette. Oof. There's the first one. Yeah, it is always Dolphins, yeah. Well, hey, HP material. We take those. $1.4 million experience. Yeah, it starts to stack up pretty quick. so limiting to play Force and use only Psycho Wand and Ratex. Yeah, what I'll probably do then is on my Force, so I've got a Psycho Wand on my Force, and I put the Ratex on my palette. And then if I was playing GameCube, I would probably use maybe the text from this menu. You know, from the actual technique part. So just things that you cast often. So things like maybe Gifoy. That's how I would do it anyway. It is definitely a big limiting factor with the game though. Yeah, I remember playing Force on GameCube, and I find it was a little bit awkward to play. I think Force is a lot easier to play in Blue Burst. On GameCube to play with a raycast, but you arrange your most used text to the top of the quick menu. Use the 3-button parts for mates and fluids. Yeah, it's one of those things where you just have to kind of play around with it and find what works for you. I mean, anyone that's seen the palette that I use for my Hunewell is probably screaming at the screen when they see it because it makes no sense, but that's how I play Hunewell. Use Formar like a Rimar with Holy Ray and Bringer's Rifle. To be honest, using Bringer's Rifle on a Formar is a really good idea anyway. You know, if you're fighting anything that's resistant to technique damage, you know, using the Bringers is a really good way of getting the health down fast. The only issue on GameCube with using the Bringers is obviously you can't add hit to it on GameCube, where you can on Blue Burst. So with a Formar, you might have some accuracy issues with it, but there's not that many other good options for demons with a Formar really on GameCube. I guess you could use an S-rank weapon, but again, it's not going to have hit. You should download the ISO PSO and modify it with the palette and then play it on a modded way. Yeah, I mean, that's another option you could do. I really feel like I'm not needed here. Used to enjoy playing offline games on the GameCube with your ex-girlfriend. Long time ago, mind you. Didn't get a GameCube until a few years ago. Yeah, I've still got my GameCube, but it's very, very rare I play a GameCube PSO now just because my GameCube is so unreliable. And because I play Blue Burst so much, there's less incentive for me to play it. But I still do prefer GameCube PSO to Blue Burst though, for the most part. Whether that's a lot of nostalgia because it's where I started, I don't know. Use a format with a max dex mag and god arms. Yeah, so you are basically playing a ranger then. I mean, honestly, Jean-Luc, I mean, if you've got a Psycho wand, spamming Ratex is probably the best way to go anywhere. Because the boost that the Psycho wand gives you is huge. You got Conjure, but no drops. Oof. Yeah, Formar does have the Gi technique boost, which is good. I feel like Formar is like a really solid class later on. I think it's one of those classes where it's very hard to get started with. You know, low level Formar is pretty rough, as is low level Hucasil. Formar best four. I've always liked Fornuel, but the only issue with Fornuel is when you get to like later in the game, the boosts that Fornuel has just aren't that useful. I mean, the increased Resta range and stuff is nice, and Pace and Megad is good, but the simple tech boost just isn't that useful later. I'm trying to think of areas I would actually benefit from the simple tech boost, and I think it's basically Final Phase Dark Falls before you, and that's about it. Yeah, exactly. You can get, well, either Demonic Fork or Cursed Cloak or, I mean, technically Dirty Life Jacket, but no one's going to use that. They'll all give you the Piercing Megad anywhere, so... Should have made a Fornuel and have better Megad insta-kill chance. To be honest, Drac, I mean, I play Fornuel quite a bit and it rarely works. I think the only things I can kill with it really reliably is a few things in Spaceship and lizards. That's about it. Even on things that have low EDK, the amount of times it just doesn't work is kind of depressing. Gotta admit, picked up GameCube primarily for PSO Episode 3 Card Revolution, as it wasn't released everywhere. Wasn't released elsewhere. Yeah, it was just GameCube Card Revolution, wasn't it? Which is a really odd choice considering that Episode 1 and 2 was on GameCube and Xbox. I don't know why they didn't port Episode 3 to Xbox as well. Yeah, there is. Yeah, Seabed and CC8 works in as well. It just feels like whenever I use it, it never kills anything. Yeah, LJP's a big fan of Ep3. I think we'll have to do an Ep3 stream again at some point. It's been a while since we've done it. I don't know when yet, but yeah, we'll have to do another one. So I think on the second phase, I might not go into the back cave part because the beam will one-shot me. Never beat it though. I genuinely can't remember if I actually beat it. I remember the final boss, which has the music that cannot be named. Oh yeah, the support abilities of Funuel are amazing. You know, with 1750 MST. Other people can go into the cave. I will stay outside the cave. Aww. Rare me weak, so you know, rare me's don't appear. Yeah, this is not going to be pleasant with this character. Well, he's probably just going to get deleted anyway. Yeah, there we go. Definitely interesting diversion from the main series. Soundtrack is amazing. It was the first one you bought on CD. Yeah, I've got the CD for Ep 3 as well. Well, I've got the Dreamcast soundtrack for Ep 1 and 2. Well, Ep 1. The GameCube Ep 1 and 2 soundtrack and the Ep 3 soundtrack. Yeah, I'm going to stay out here because I don't fancy getting beamed. You wanted a dragon scale, so it gave you Conduit. That's kind of how PSO works, isn't it? Whatever you want won't happen. You'll get everything apart from what you want. It does have its own little deck of cards, yeah. You only get a few, unfortunately. But yeah, I've got a few of those. They are extremely cheap, you know, they are like the flimsiest cardboard you've ever seen, but it's kind of cool. Oh, that's not good. That's okay, they got scapes. I realise I'm not doing much here. The reason I'm not going in the back cave is because the boss does this beam a lot. That beam. And that beam does 900 damage. The keen-eyed among you may have noticed I do not have 900 health. Yeah, that beam. Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Thank you. Oh, that was very, very close. I like how he did the beam and then decided to die after doing the beam. Port the way at level 49 and your DS's red light has just come on. Oh, level 111. Absolutely nothing of any use, really. That was lucky. Yeah, this character really isn't at the level where she should be doing that boss in Ultimate, really. It's one thing I've never really liked about the episode 4 boss in the final phase. It's just kind of, you just have to accept you're going to get hit if you go in the cave, because the sweeping beam, he does it so often, and there's no real way to dodge it. Yeah, it basically just instant kills you if you don't have 900 health, so it's pointless going in the back cave if you don't have 900 health. Unless you're able to do Rester, because you can, if you time Rester perfect, like frame perfect, you can basically heal as the beam hits you and it won't kill you. But you have to be absolutely frame perfect to do it, and I'm not that person. I know that Ziggy managed it in one of his runs earlier on. It's really, really hard to do though. I think people call it Rester shielding, where you can basically use Rester to avoid a death, but it's, yeah, it's super hard to do. Yeah, frame perfect Rester feels nice when you pull it off. I think I've probably done it like once or twice in my entire PSO career. It is really cool when you do pull it off though, yeah. It's just very, very hard to do. So we can switch up a bit. So we've done MA4. What haven't we done yet? So we've done Fiasco a little bit. We haven't done any Ep1 Fiasco. We've never done SGS for the day. Do you really want to do an SGS run? You just want to see what a present is. I like that. Do you want to do an SGS run? No. Oh, there's a banner. Here just found a laboratory level 30 disc. I'm glad Aid's found something. Yeah, so we've still got 8, so we can do another 2 runs. I mean, I just don't even know if it's worth doing an SGS run when there's no increased drop rates. You know, 1 in 12,500 sucks. I'm not sure, LJP. I know someone got a Lavis early, but I can't remember who the name was. You're medically exempt from tower. Let's do a cookie run in Perp Tower. Oh, another banner. Well, someone just got a Psycho Wand from Mill-Lily, I'm guessing. Yeah. Well, 2 Skylight SGS runs to finish it up. I mean, we can do an SGS run if you really want to do an SGS run. I will go and get my Uniwell then. Unless anyone else wants to make Skylight, in which case I can use my Force or something, but I'm happy to play Hunter if you want. Killian's gonna quit again. I mean, the other team doesn't have to do tower. Just at least one team is. You're already dead inside. Right. I will go and get my Uniwell. Are you gonna get your Skylight? Yeah, if you want to do that, but that's fine. I will not use this character for tower though. I will get my Funuel then. Not sure if you're ready to have PTSD. I think I've run tower so much that I'm just kind of immune to it now. I'm expecting absolutely nothing because the drop rates will be awful at the minute. You made it. You did make it, Passion Flame. Yeah, I'll probably go on for about another, probably just under an hour or so. Don't know what's going on over here. I'll pretend I didn't see what was going on there. You saw nothing. You had Anguish on. Yeah, it is a casual Anguish tower run. Yeah, no problem. I think PSO is one of many games you'll never get tired of playing. Yeah, I can't see me stopping anytime soon. I mean, I do balance it with other games, obviously. Well, I think there's a Skylight Tower game up, and then what if we do Cookie Tower Sky or Purple Alpe Cookie? Yeah, so if you want to do a Purple Num Tower run, a Cookie, you can join Lacquered. Or if you want to do Skylight Tower, we can join Porkins. So yeah, whoever wants to run it. You'd like to do an SGS run? Yeah, no worries. Why Sega Team didn't release PSO Blueburst on consoles during the year? I don't know, it was a weird choice with Blueburst where they only released it on console back in the day and then they've just never re-released it again. Whether they do re-release it again at some point, I don't know. I mentioned this in my recent video, I said like I think it would suit games like consoles like the Switch, but whether they actually do it is another thing altogether. Well, while people run around, I'm going to join this run. Because if an SGS is going to drop, I want to see it. PSO and Yakuza games are easily my favourite games next to Monster Hunter. Speaking of which, hurry up February. Yeah, really, really hurry up February. I need to play Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, thanks for the follow, Amethyst. Oh, is that the charged GU Hunt? Grants to 95. I suppose it has next to no attack power to begin with though, so I suppose it needs to grind high. Kinda want a new normal RPG. It would be cool to see like another classic Phantasy Star, honestly, but I think the chances of it are extremely low. Okay, so we have the two people in the team who have both found SGSs previously. Surely this is the run. Can we get 2 SGS in the same run? Maybe. Wonder what they'll do for their anniversaries coming up this year. 3 anniversaries. Want to see more than Twitter posts. Yeah, I'm hoping so. Oh, good. Yeah, PSO video has been very helpful to a new player that only played the classics. Oh, cool. I'm glad to hear that. If you ever do play on Ephinea Amethyst, if you go to Luma Race, Block 2, Lobby 21, that's where we normally play. So if there's people there, I'm sure people will be glad to help you out as well. If you also join, we do have a Discord as well. I think it should be in the info panel under the stream. But yeah, we do have a Discord you can join as well if you want to sort of join people to play there as well. You've never hosted Skylight SGS runs? No idea. So Phantasma World 4 is decent for SGSs. Well, for GGUs, not for SGSs, because the two are not mutually exclusive. There is also Phantasma World 1 is okay if you do the seaside part, but if you want to do tower, Phantasma World 4 is decent. I mean, obviously Twilight Sanctuary is very decent, but that is hell on earth. The current online model is on free-to-play with scratch and cosmetic content and sponsorship to generate revenue for server costs. Yeah, I think that's how NGS runs. Don't pick Twilight Porkins. There you go, Amethyst. Yeah, that's the Discord link. So we don't just play PSO as well. We do play some other games as well. Yeah, Phantasma World 4 is fine. It's still quite rough, but nowhere near as bad as Twilight. The main reason you stop playing online, except for retro fan servers. I think it's just how games are now, isn't it? I think a lot of games now do operate on the sort of free-to-play model, but with microtransactions. But we're starting off hot. We've got a club of Zimuran. Yeah, a little tip for anyone who's never played this quest before. For that Gibbles there, particularly if you're soloing, if you stand here, it'll get stuck pretty much every time. You can also get the other one stuck as well if you stand over this side. There's certain spaces on the map where you can stand and they'll get stuck on the train. Alright, now is the time. Even if PSO is considered a niche game for some, I think Sega should do more for it. NGS fell out overall. Hype not memo, but it coming to the West nearly a decade later is ridiculous at best. I'm still convinced that the only reason that PSO2 came to the West was in preparation for New Genesis launching, so that the game was already sort of instated in the West. If NGS wasn't going to be a thing, I don't think we would have got PSO2 in the West personally. I could be wrong, but at least people didn't have to wait for NGS. The PSO2 situation really was ridiculous. I think the worst thing about PSO2 Classic was the fact that it literally got shown at E3. Again, we mentioned this on the Discord event yesterday, but it literally got shown at E3. I think it was in about I want to say about 2014. It got shown at E3 and they said it was going to release that year, I think it was. And then just nothing happened and just total radio silence from Sega. Can I hit those with Zelda from here? Yes, I can. Cool. That was not reverser. I never played Forcing Tower, so I've got no idea what things are weak to. I should probably use the plugin that tells me the weaknesses. At least people... Yeah, I think for PSO 2, I say it was just strange that it actually got announced at E3 and then it was just complete radio silence from Sega. Until... I want to say, was it E3... Oh, what year was it? They announced it at E3 again. Was it about 2019 or 2020? It would have been 2020 because I'm pretty sure it got cancelled. Or did it run in 2020 and get cancelled in 21? I can't remember now. I remember seeing it get announced live at E3 though, and being kind of stunned that it was actually going to release in the West. It was a really difficult decision as well whether to play it or not, because obviously at this point I'd had a ton of time in the Japanese servers. I think when PSO 2 didn't release, my abstaining from Sega products hurt their revenue. You'd like to think that. It probably didn't, but morally I felt good. I think I might just stick with Glide Divine for this, honestly, just for the debuff range. Because realistically I'm debuffing 95% of the time anyway, so... I played PSO briefly on Ship 2 before it came to the West, but it was a chore, even when playing with a lot of other Western players. Never cared for it much. It's a very mixed game. I think a lot of I think a lot of people are very mixed on PSO 2. It's either a game that you're going to really, really like or not. I think even if you're a big PSO fan, it's a very hard sell on PSO 2 just because it is completely different. Even though it isn't a good game in its own right as well. Actually, no, I am going to use Psycho 1 because I need the TP servant. You think PSO 2 is the perfect sequel? I wouldn't call it that personally, but it's one of those things where I think it's very personal to each person individually. For me, I think it's a very good game, but it doesn't feel like a sequel to PSO to me personally. And NGS even less so. Well, Skyly run confirmed. Dragon Slayer drop. I think if PSO 2 wasn't an MMO, it would have been a really good sequel to PSP 2 Infinity. Yeah, I mean, again, I think they're quite different games overall, but again, I really enjoyed my time with Infinity as well. Still sucks that it never came outside Japan, but still really like the game though. Played quite a bit of Infinity back in the day when it released. We went back to PSU as it's closer to PSO in structure and gameplay. Yeah, PSU, I've said this a couple of times, but I kind of feel that PSU is like the perfect example of like a halfway house between PSO and PSO 2. You can see where some of the early seeds of some of the PSO 2 ideas came from, but it also does stick to some of the PSO tropes as well. PSU is the one you have on Xbox 360. Yeah, when I played PSU, I played it on PC, but it was like PC and PS2 combined servers, which is still wild to me that the PS2 was online, but oof. Walk straight into that one. The Lilies did not appreciate the debuff there. PSP games are really good. You really love the Goral system and the story. Yeah, I think PSP 1 is pretty interesting. I think the game itself is not the strongest because obviously PSP 1 was essentially like a light version of PSU, but it did have its own kind of cool story, so I kind of respect it for that. PSP 2 and Infinity are really, really strong games though. Last time I played MMO was Final Fantasy 14, stellar game. Could NGS replicate that? Possibly if it didn't become... could be the coolest. Yeah, 14 I've got a very mixed opinion of because, again, I've said this on streams before, but when I played FF14, it was in 1.0, which was not the best experience to put it mildly. I have played a little bit like post Realm Reborn, but it's just not the kind of game for me, really. You're making lore for your PSO2 character is mostly inspired by Dark Souls, but further in, the plot twist was that Ibel's great-grandmother was one of Luther's clones. Some time travel in the past, and yeah, that's it. I think it's interesting when people do like lore for the characters, really. I certainly did it back in the day for a few of my characters. I think when you've got a game where you can, you know, make your own character and you're not tied to using a preset, you can kind of decide to do what you want with it. I will say, I think that's one thing where PSO2 and NGS do excel, because the character creator is so ridiculous. You can basically make whatever you want to in it. Not sure how I survived that there, but I'll take it. Would be nice if I could target that. Then you have PS0, the red-headed stepchild of the series. Yeah, I mean, it is for sure, because I know not many people have played it, but honestly, I had fun with Zero. I do want to play a bit more of it at some point. I kind of need to do Tower in it at some point as well. I'm kind of glad that was the yellow shield and Epsilon and not the purple one. Yeah, Vivienne was really popular. I think the story with like Vivienne and Helga in PSP 1 was really interesting. What are you weak to? Anything? Can I get you from there? I can. Cool. Yeah, forces are feel kind of useless in Tower. You basically just debuff stuff and spam Rabata, and that's about it. Oh, I forgot about this spawn. It's one of the only downside of this quest is that you have to put up with this 3 epsilon spawn, which is awful. One of them's purple as well, so if I touch it, I'll die. Well done. That's cool, Blade, of that. I'm glad you sort of made a story for your character. So a few of mine have stories from. There's a couple where I've just made them and not really put much thought into it, but yeah. My Huniwell in particular, because I've had her so long, I know she's definitely got backstory. Is it possible to make a tank build for the ultra difficulty? I mean, basically, if you can get a force to cast level 30 D-Band and level 30 Gelin, that kind of makes most people quite tanky anyway. Defense is not really something you tend to stack into in PSO, really. I'm not saying it's not doable, but it's just not the way you tend to do it. Yeah, Raker Seal is definitely the class to go for if you want really, really high defense. It's one of the things that PSO World gets wrong. You went back to the lab. We're not finished yet, Vector. Yeah, HP is also a mixed bag, isn't it? As anyone who has a high level Raycast or Raker Seal will know, having really high HP is not good sometimes. You love the people that have backstories for the characters. Yeah, I think it adds a bit more life to them. You know, most of these characters are characters I've had for years. I mean, this character is actually not one of mine. It's actually one of my friends that he used to have on PSO. That he doesn't. He still plays NGS now, but he doesn't use this character anymore. And I couldn't think of a name for a full new world, so I just asked him if I could use this name. But my Huniwell that stuck around. She's been around since like Blue Burst, and has been in most of the games. I love the range on Glide Divines. Jelen's Alloy. SectionSkyly best with making names. I mean, even my Huniwell in this, right, her name basically is a mixture of, it's my old GameCube Huniwell's name, Terra, mixed with Rika from Phantasy Star 4, so yeah, I'm not exactly the most imaginative for names, but where did SectionSkyly come from? It was 2 words connected to PSO that alliterated. And Skylight because, well, Skylight is what I use all the time on GameCube, more or less. Thought Tigger was a Limp Bizkit reference. Take a look around. Oh, God. The longest his character name was Jax. Give you the matter or an ID. It's actually really funny, LJP. In the alliance I'm in on NGS, someone was talking randomly about Jeff as Gemini recently. Still surprised that you managed to make a Ranger and a Force despite your apprehension to bolt back on the GameCube. It is different playstyles. I mean, I've always preferred Hunter overall. But honestly, like, as a Hunter, you do kind of need to know what you're doing because you need to know where enemies are going to spawn so you can position well. So there is some elements to it. Go on, Megas, you can do it. Well, sort of. Not sure about PSU now, but when you stopped playing, it was a great experience to play. Virtually 100% of Japanese content translated and working, as well as the PSP content working and crafting. Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot of work on Clementine, really. I know there is a bit of disgruntlement with Clementine at the minute because they're meant to be doing this new player experience to make it easier for new players to get started, but it keeps, well, I would say it keeps getting delayed, but there's just not much news on it. So hopefully they announce something about that soon. Yeah, if you want to play Clementine, if you want to play PSU, Clementine is probably the place to do it. It may be the only place to do it, honestly. I don't think there are many PSU private servers. You know, unlike PSO where there's loads of them. I think we can leave that club of Zimiran on the floor. I like how I buff and then immediately get killed. Thanks, Lily. Play Portable to Infinity a ton on the English patch is great. I've never done the story in Infinity on the English patch. I have played through Infinity in Japanese on my actual PSP. I do plan on doing the Infinity story at some point. The only issue is I want to do it as a series on YouTube, but the issue is that when I did the PSP2 playthrough, it really did horribly on YouTube. So I'm sort of hesitant to do the story. I think if I do it, it'll be a while off. It's a shame because I do like the story of Infinity. It is good. Yeah, it just wasn't popular at all. And when I say it wasn't popular, I don't mean it did slightly bad. It was way worse than anything else on my channel. Well, I think the only thing that's done worse was the Diablo 4 live streams. And the Nier Automata live stream, actually, that did terrible. I think the issue with those is because on YouTube, those games, they get marked as adult games because they're 18 rated. And it seems that whenever that gets flagged as an 18+ game, it just kills your views. Is it possible to cast Shifter and D-Band at the same time? Not really. The only thing you can get close to it is if you use, in PSO at least, the only way you can get close to it is with the S-Red blades. If you do the special, it typically does one cast per attack, and because you attack twice, there is a chance you'll do a Shifter and a D-Band. But that's the only way you can do it, otherwise you have to cast separately. Another server stole a lot of the Clementine server's work and put up their own PSU server. I'm not sure how long it lasts as the PSU players are a much smaller fan base to begin with. With respect to the game, I can't imagine there being much demand for more than one private server for PSU. As much as I like the game, I just don't think it has the player base to support multiple private servers. It sucks that someone ripped off the Clementine stuff though. It's the first I've heard of it, actually. I didn't realise someone did that. Oh, Hawkins got a present. I love the cursed Christmas tree symbol chat. Hmm, 172. Charge type S shot with 40 hit. Oh, cool. That might be useful, actually. I'm not sure how high that grinds to, that one. Won't mention the name here. Nita said Triller didn't garner much, if any, respect from anybody. Yeah, I'm not surprised. You know, the community is already small for Phantasy Star for the games outside of PSO 2 and NGS, so you know, people need to stick together, really. At PSO, I think there is enough room for a couple of private servers because people want different experiences with the game, for sure. You know, some people want like a very strict experience that's very similar to the original servers, which I feel is what Ephinea gives. There are some changes, admittedly, but it is quite faithful to the classic servers. Where some people want to, you know, break the game as much as possible and have crazy builds, which there are some servers that do that. You know, for me, I want it to be more similar to what I remember playing when I was growing up, so that's why I play Ephinea. Humor Justice servers. Oh, we got a Yami Garasu with 5% machine. Thank you for alerting me about the camera. I almost made a horrible mistake. Guys from the depths, cool as hell barrier. It is really cool, yeah. It's a bit of work to get it, but yeah. I think the main issue again is, yeah, one of the items that you need for it is the DF shield, which I believe only drops on 2 IDs and is quite a rare drop from Darkfalls, so we got really lucky. I think it might have been during the anniversary event, I think, when it dropped. So I remember it dropping. Could be wrong, maybe it was before, but I want to say maybe it was the anniversary. It's blue and orange for the DF shield. Every time I go to say that, I nearly always call it a DF field because there is an item called DF field as well. Yeah, orange and blue IDs, yeah. Yeah, you need that, and then there's a few other items you need for it as well. And the crazy thing, if you want to go even deeper with rare stuff, there's a quest in Ephinea called the Forge where you can basically get what are called platings for the red ring, which turn the red ring and make it look like a different shield. And there is a thing called the deep plating, which makes it look like From the Depths. For that, you need 2 From the Depths as one of the trade items for it. So I feel on Ephinea that even when you get to high level, there is always stuff to hunt, because if you get a red ring, you can change it into whatever shield you want it to, really. Well, providing it's one of the ones that's available. But it is a hell of a grind trying to get all the stuff for them. But Force really just does no damage here at all. Before you left Clementine, you're working on redistributing the rarest and most sought after drops between specific missions so that more missions are ran instead of the usual 3. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think the last thing you want is, you know, I mean, it's always been a problem with the online games where there's always been certain quests that everyone runs. You know, obviously PSO, everyone runs TDF all the time. In Clementine, well, sorry, on PSU on the official servers, it was always White Beast. Oh, but it's got a birdish. It's got terrible percent, because of course it does. To be fair, I don't need another birdish, so if anyone wants that, let me know. Because I do have a 75 dark birdish already, and I never use that. It is SGS from home. Would I be better off going for a high dex dodge build or high defense and health for ultimate? Oh. Didn't even realize I got a Photon Blast. Well, there you go. There's the whiffed Photon Blast for the stream. Would I be better going for a high dex dodge build or high def and health for ultimate? Granted, I've never been past hard mode. To be honest, I kind of feel for ultimate that it's just a case of having high attack or high MST to kill stuff as fast as you can. You tend to find that defense, honestly, for me, I don't think defense makes a huge difference. Most of your defense increases are typically from buffs. So if you're playing a 4-mar, for example, you know, your level 30 D-band and your level 30 gelin is going to reduce the damage a lot more than any defense you've got. Which is why people don't tend to put defense on the mags much as well. It's also the other reason people don't put defense on the mags much is because for some reason, for every 1 point of defense on your mag, you only get, I think it's 1 defense. Whereas for power, you get 2 attack power. For mind, you get 2. The dex, it's a bit different because you get, I think it's 1 point of dex per 2 levels. That's because dex scales differently. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about going for either high evade or high defense. There are disadvantages to both. I really want to buff people again, but Epsilon will not stop attacking me. Oof, that was instant. I got screwed by the floor there because the floor sort of ramps up a bit in the middle and it hit me because of that. Epsilon, please. I'm so dead once this Photon Blast chain ends. Trying to get over to where Porkins is, but I know if I go near that Epsilon, I'll just die. Lots of people heard the idea, so you never came to anything as you left before you complete the task. They want the service to 100% match the original experience. I mean, I would say, I do really like Clementine, but I would say that for me, it's not similar to the original experience. It's quite different from what I remember personally. But I do still like it though. So tempted to have a 200 defense mark. I don't know what the highest defense you could get to is, because there are limits to what you can actually do. I genuinely don't know if you can actually get a 200 defense mag. It would be terrible as well, but yeah, if you want to go for it, go for it. Is that the end? Are we finally free? Ephinea is great. Who's running it these days? As far as I know, it's I think it's Matt and Soda, I think it is. It's impossible to have pure defense. Yeah, I've never tried it, so I know for things like pure mind mags, I think you can only get up to about, is it about 185 or somewhere around there? Yeah, make sure you get your coins from Null as well. Yeah, Ephinea seems to be doing really well, honestly. I think both these are kind of garbage. Yeah, they are. So if anyone wants these, please take them. They are terrible percents. Anything good in here? Nope. Can't say I'm surprised. Yeah, nothing is stopping you from going all in with a defense mag, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it personally. Yeah, I guess you can team point them if you want to. Kind of at the point where we've kind of unlocked pretty much everything that we need to for now, so but yeah, I guess you can team point them if you want. So how are my limiters doing? $9,600, so that one's about halfway. And 13,800, so not too much longer. Am I wrong in thinking that stacking buffs and having a 200 defense mag would be pretty tanky? Yeah, I mean, so like Def Cup said, you can't get a 200 defense mag, because of the rate that the stats increase at, you'll always get a level on something else. So it is impossible to get like a max 200 defense mag. But if you went with as high defense as possible, you could do it and you would be pretty tanky, but the issue is that there are downsides to having really high defense. So the main issue in Ultimate is, like Mist is saying, there are some enemies where you kind of want to get knocked down by them. So an example of that is the Sinnohs in Mines in Ultimate. You kind of want to get knocked over by them, really, because if you get knocked over, they will knock you over, do damage, then you'll get up and you've got time to sort of get away and heal. Where if they don't knock you over, they'll just keep hitting you, and there's no real invulnerability period in Ultimate, so they'll just keep on hitting you over and over again until you die. So because of that, it can be bad to have really high defense sometimes. But similarly, it can also be bad to have really high evade, because with evade, if you get caught in the middle of a load of monsters, you'll just block continuously and you won't actually be able to do anything. You'll get kind of animation locked. Now that obviously can be corrected by knowing where the spawns are going to spawn and positioning better. There are obviously upsides to it as well. So if you have really high evade, you know, obviously you've got more chance of blocking things that you don't want to hit you. You can also do some things like the Ep4 boss. There's a way you can do like tons of damage to it with the Estella Photon Blast with really high evade as well. Ricochet with Black Hound Cuirass and 200 defense mag and Red Ring. was going to say, Miss, can you still use traps from your quick menu when you're sort of stuck in the evade lock? Because that's really, really useful. That if you can do that, I know with non-cast characters, you're just kind of screwed because you can't do the tech animation in time. Yeah, another example would be on Darkfalls, the Rafoy and the Rabata that it does. If you have really high health or really high evade, sometimes you will just get multi-hit by them in Ultimate. So it is, it's quite bad sometimes to have really high in certain stats. It's just a weird sort of quirk of the game. You think traps do still work? Yeah, full disclosure, I don't really play cast very much in PSO. As you probably saw when I played my Huke Seal, I'm horrible at playing androids. Did one cookie skylight? What was that? One cookie skylight, no SGS, green desert cookie, V101 drop for Pika. What, V101 actually exists? Now, congrats on that, Pika. Oh, nice one now. Happy for you. It is only ever when we do Green Hill, though, isn't it? It seems to be the only ID it ever drops on. You got PD'd on V101 3 times yesterday. V101, Green Hill exclusive confirmed. It feels that way, honestly. Oh, well, at least you got something, though. I'm assuming that limiters have to be equipped to get the kill counts up. Yes, they do. Yeah, it's the same way as when you're trying to unseal J Sword or an Excalibur or a Limbed Agent. You have to have it equipped. Ephinea and Shack were the 2 most popular PSO servers when you used to play. Never did try Shack or Blue Burst Ultima, as Ephinea was perfectly good and ran like a dream. Yeah, I played on Shack years and years ago before, I think it might have been even before Ephinea was a thing. Yeah, I'm glad I moved to Ephinea. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, the Limbed Detergent, yeah, I've got a few of those in the bank, actually. I should probably just give those away, because I've got a few that have really low percents on them. Whoever never got a chance to play Shack is pretty lucky. And for what it's worth, like, when the server was up, it was pretty good. Do I have any with zeros? I think I do have a claim one, yeah. I think I do have one with all zeros. I'd have to check, but yeah, I think I do. I know I've got one that has percentages on it as well, but they're pretty poor. Yeah, I'll have to have a look and see what the percentages are. And check after the stream if you want and see what I've got. But yeah, I think if you are looking for a server to play PSO on now, I think I would typically just go for Ephinea first. Unless you're wanting the experience where you're wanting a game that's significantly altered from the original servers. If you're wanting something that feels a bit more natural and a bit more like PSO actually was, though, then Ephinea is probably the server for you. That's not to say it is a one-to-one recreation, because it isn't. There are changes, but it is still very close. Yeah, Shaka does have the GameCube crossplay, doesn't it, in the lobbies? Yeah, there is also ragdoll.org as well, so that's for, I believe that's for what, Dreamcast, GameCube, and it also covers episode 3 as well. So if you want to play either of those, that's another server you can use. So, did you see the project that allows Bluebird's players to play with Xbox and GameCube all in the same lobby? Definitely seemed interesting. I remember seeing something about that. I've never actually checked it out though, so I need to have a look into that. This is the thing. It is. I still find it kind of funny, like on these streams, whenever I play PSO, when people, you know, you get people coming in and have no idea that PSO is still playable. They should make a PSO collection like they did with PSO. With PSOs, sorry, with Halo. Or PSO on the mind. It would be cool. I mean, I don't know how well it would sell. Yeah, Isekai, I don't know if you're aware of the private service PSO, but this one is called Ephinea. I think on YouTube, I think it is in the stream title, the name of the server. So just Google that, and on their website there's a link to download the client for it. You're having flashbacks for your format. There's been quite a few people recently that have just discovered the videos and have just realised that you can still play it. Yeah, so it's nice to see people coming back to it, honestly. I mean, just give you an idea as well, because I know some people on that video I did recently about 2025 in Phantasy Star, some people were saying that PSO is dead. There's 233 people on that ship. There's another 23 there. There's another 40 there. I would suggest that PSO is not dead. Admittedly, this is during an event, so the population is a bit higher. But even outside of the events, it's common to have 100 to 200 people on usually. You saw the VR chat PSO stuff. Yeah, the VR chat PSO worlds are quite cool. Like I said, I tried it once and it made me violently motion sick, so I had to go off it quite quickly, but I don't know if that was my headset doing it or the actual world. I may try it again at some point and see if I have any better luck. I typically don't get motion sick in VR, but that lobby in particular made me violently want to be sick. PSO will likely never die. I mean, hopefully. PSO has more players than Concord. I mean, anything has more players than Concord now. But even when it was active, yeah. I think it actually did. I think what it was, Pika, so when you spawn in on Pioneer 2 on it, for some reason it was running like really bad frame rate for me. Which is odd because every other world in VR chat seemed fine that I'd been to. It was just this one ran a really, really low FPS. And whenever I moved, it kind of stuttered a bit, and it just made me really sick. But I might check it out again at some point and see if it's any different. PSO has more private servers than Skyrim has re-releases. I feel that the community for PSO, I think, is so strong that I think they'll always, for the foreseeable future anyway, I think there'll be private servers for as long as I can think, really. I think the only thing that would put that at risk would be if Sega did do anything like a remaster or re-release a PSO, because they might not look kindly on private servers then. But having said that, a lot of the private servers that are around were around when the official servers were as well, so... It's like Star Wars. Yeah, I think it's just got such a die-hard fan base, honestly, that even though the PSO fan base is quite small now, let's be real, the ones that are left are very, very fond of the game, so... You never got level 200 getting the itch for it. It's not too bad. I mean, it's a grind to get to 200 for sure, but you can do it. It's not impossible. Every 4 weeks on this server as well, you do get an experience week boost where it's double experience, so that does help. Or 150% experience, I can't remember what it is now. It's kind of like the Mega Man fandom. Both games might be death, but their fans carry the entire franchise. Anyway, I think before I get ranting and going on about PSO for the next 5 hours, I think I'll probably end the stream there for today. So, plan is on Tuesday there should be a members video going live. So that'll be members first, and that will go live to everyone else a week later. Just to give people a bit more incentive for the membership, that's all. There'll be another video on the Sunday. On Wednesday, we'll do a stream. I think on Wednesday, we're probably going to do the rest of Phantasy Star 1, try and get that finished. We will either start Phantasy Star 2 or play something else after it, depending on if I've decided what version of Phantasy Star 2 I want to play. So either of those on Wednesday. And then Sunday, I think Sunday, that'll be the day that we start PSO 2. So that'll be the first PSO 2 classic stream. So if you're into PSO 2, look forward to that. As usual, yeah, if you enjoyed the stream, please consider the usual, like and subscribing. Thank you very much for the bits again. You can join as a member on YouTube if you want to, or you can sub over on Twitch, whichever you feel like. You can also use Twitch Prime as well on Twitch if so inclined.
You piece of Orcs trash!
That's very rude. Yeah, we do also have a Discord as well, so feel free to join us over there as well. I love just the spamming of the sound alerts now. Thanks for that. Yeah, so feel free to join us on the Discord if you want to join us over there. We do play PSO, PSU, PS0, other games that are not Phantasy Star occasionally. So yeah, feel free to join us over there as well. Yeah, hope you all have a good night. If you don't mind, I've got an emergency code to take care of. So I will see you guys on Wednesday for the next stream. I had to think there what day it was. Bye.